Yo, le rap. Tac, tac, tac. Tic, 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 tic. Hop là. Oh, je sais pas jouer. Oh tiens, on va faire ça un peu. Ça c'est cool ça. What? What the fuck? C'est quoi cette merde? C'est quoi cette merde là? Ok. Oh là là, les... Ouais, je vois le niveau des tirs. Non. C'est n'importe quoi. Oh, il a fait le faire.
Mais ouais, frérot, mais laisse-moi jouer, laisse-moi jouer. Je suis pas chaud, c'est normal, je suis pas chaud. Oh là là, j'arrive pas à jouer, c'est un truc de fou. Regardez, moi j'ai un autre coffre. Comme ça. Mais gros, non mais c'est bon. C'est quoi ça? aller faire les pipis. PP. EC88. Tac. EC88. J'ai pissé, je reviens. Tac. Est-ce que j'ai pas un skin plus beau? Peut-être avec la botte. On est parti pour cette petite pépé. J'ai essayé de pas mourir au spawn parce que ça va me gaver sinon. De toute façon c'est une PV donc normalement on n'est pas censé se tuer au début. Mais 53. Non on n'est pas que 55, ils ont pas lancé que 55. Attends, wesh, non c'est des bâtards. 80. Frérot on est 54. Bon bah on est 53. On est 52 dans la game. Par contre j'espère qu'ils vont pas se tuer, c'est trop du cul, ça faut quand même faire une espèce de fin de zone. 47. Les frérots, faire une fin de zone, essayez de pas vous tuer. Je crois pas qu'ils aient compris le concept. Putain, il lance à quelle heure la prochaine? Ah, dans 15 heures, c'est la dernière. Oh, non, les mecs, sérieux. Frérot, le but c'est de faire des fins de zone, ils se tuent. Ils sont trop cons. Putain. Bon, bah, on va avoir une fin de zone à 2. Non, mais sérieux. On va jouer CS après. Putain. Je vais me battre du coup parce que visiblement ils ont pas très envie de... On va aller jouer CS. Tac. Attends, on va aller en... Hop. Ah merde, je suis en partie privée encore. Putain, tout bête. Pour ça, j'arrive plus à doubler vite. Wesh. Attends, j'arrive plus à doubler vite. Vas-y, on va partir en game. J'arrive plus à doubler vite. Ça m'en fout. Juste que je fasse un truc. Tac. Pas le temps. Attends, je te jure, j'arrive plus à doubler vite par contre. What the fuck? J'arrive plus à doubler vite. Non, j'arrive plus à doubler vite. Attends, je sais même pas où aller. C'est un petit rookie. Putain, il me fait peur le con. il est là. Putain, c'est un taré, c'était taré. Et j'ai limite envie de les jouer. Putain, mais des dingueries ce pompe. Oh la glissade c'est le pire truc au monde. Putain mais j'étais trop bien. La glissade c'est vraiment n'importe quoi, sérieux. Juste m'accroupir je glisse, sérieusement. C'est n'importe quoi. Oh j'en ai marre. J'en ai marre, est-ce que tu pourrais arrêter ta musique de merde, copyright, gavé. Mais regarde contre qui il tombe. Mais frérot, tu fais quoi là? pas le bateau là. Où est le bateau? Ouais, tu es où le bateau? Bah, y a pas de bateau? Pas de bateau? Non, ça y a pas de bateau. Bah, y a pas de bateau. Non. Non mais gros, je fais exprès. Gros! Alors attendez 2 secondes.
En vrai, là, je pense pas ce soir.
Ok, impeccable, on peut repartir. On va prendre une voiture pour la zone. Pourquoi tu coupes cette merde là? Oh, mais je suis débile. Putain, j'aurais dû me barrer dès le début. Non, 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 non. Putain, d'avoir une molette, c'est tout plaisir quand même. Stormtrooper. Bonjour. Mini. Body rebelle. Putain, frérot, c'est bon. bégayes dans les trucs. Je bégaye dans mes touches. Nan, 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 nan. Flemme de changer le titre. Après ce game, j'allais perdre des points d'arène. Ah mais j'ai pas sur la bonne. Je suis vraiment enculé. Ouais, j'ai même fait un assez bon spawn. C'est qui vient là? C'est qui vient à la maison? Moi j'ai rigolé. Frérot, je rigolais. Putain. C'est long, c'est long, c'est long, c'est long, c'est long, c'est long, c'est long. On va aller continuer de regarder les lives. Les Fincias. Et comme ça je descends en dessous de 2800. Nanana. Bon, on va quitter ce petit Fortnite. Tac, on va se mettre là. Hop là, hop là. Venez vous abonner à mon petit Discord. C'est, je crée un petit Discord comme ça, tranquille. Venez-y. Hop.
Happening, and they're the ones to kind of hold on and start it over in round number 1, and now they're here with maybe somewhere else. Can't really see one side or one half of your position of where you are. iDrop actually chooses to move up and across. Not being in a troubling position is very nice. Grows in Shizo. Once again, lots of these dominant low ground teams not here this time, and this game they'll be able to have a lot more space faster, much quicker than before, and have possibly the biggest pedestal to get points, or pedestal to get points at this moment. Everyone also rocking in undisturbed to Greasy right now. I'm not seeing many people fall in the feed moving into this circle, but the north side will have to be the focus. I'm guessing desperate box fights will be had in the south if there are maybe 1 or 2 teams who are in trouble. But up north, there's still a few teams who are not in. Slowway, Screwy, moving through, and he's gonna be a nuisance on the backside of some of these players who are really late and getting into the zone. A few picks, and that's Bubak down. That's one, and a lot of crucial mats for the man as well. Still below on Surge, though. This is all about getting as many points as possible before you get down. Down to Super Screwy in this moment as a solo player, making this much noise. Here's Chuck Slash his opponent, okay. Talking about disrespect, he rocks it in. Could be a crucial one he needed, though. This is going to be so unfortunate for the man. 10-5, and he's gone. Did a lot to actually slow down the backside, though. Let's see who's holding some of these players towards the north. It's not going to be ZND and Joe. They're a little bit more towards the south and middle of the map so far. It is still such, you know, just a cluster, a traffic jam all the way up top for the zone so far. Now everyone's gonna have to move once again. Barely any team pulls that next zone.
Yeah, and in terms of the teams who have been able to pull it Ryzen and Painter pulling 50-50 will be huge for them. I'm trying to see if there's any other teams who really can make use of it, right? Obviously, last game, Pink and Anas, they pulled 50-50, and we saw how far that was able to take them in their pursuit of a win. Obviously, this time around, they're not here, but other teams will be looking to emulate that kind of performance.
I really want to see where Tayson and Chapix are in this moment right now. They're going to be up against Shizo and Grols. Both teams are going to be playing two very different games. This should be one of the most exciting dual perspectives to watch for a team. One focused on being completely the center of attention on high ground. The other focused on being as silent as possible, just racking in consistent placement and a few eliminations on the low. Besides, Snazy will also be rocking in a very specific or a very similar spot to where we just saw Shizo. They're all about just moving between the lines and going for a bit of damage and picking up as many points as possible while working off of the pressure other people create. Talking about the ones that create that pressure, Queasy, active right now. He's the one to pick up Lolis in the feed, ST down. They'll have a little bit of a say on what to do, but look who are the right beside on the left side of your screen. We have Jerky and iDrop, Tayson and Chapix, kind of the high ground apartment complex, ready to go and play the game. Meanwhile, everyone else is just sitting silent. They don't want to be the focus of anything. Who are some of the challengers here right now as well, too? Nano 8 and Lou on the other side, battling for a spot, both in separate built towers, seeing exactly what the zone will say. It'll give Hen and Queasy the first chance to drop some pressure, and the last leg to actually jump.
Yeah, we talked about how earlier, in terms of materials and resources, they weren't looking in the best position, but Hen has a harpoon, right? And that's going to be so key for them to actually stay in this game, because even though they're low on resources, if he can find loot in the storm, they'll be able to keep height. And the smallest opportunity they have to get height, and they're taking it. They want to hold on to it.
All the way up top, but they built a little bit of a ramp for anyone who's daring enough to kind of come up and take it. I called it a little bit, but everyone has their own focus on making it to the front portion of the zone. Tayson and Chapix too are just making sure they're taking off anyone down below. They finally look up and see this monstrosity of a build. Tayson's like, okay. They find another pad that's even closer. How did he even think and hear or see it? This man is just, I don't know, has 8 eyes and 17 ears. Tayson finds a perfect path all the way in. This is all impromptu. Met up with Chapix as well, who found his own way into the zone from this side. Insane the way these guys just see the way the builds move in the zone.
We talked about how Queasy and Hen would take the opportunity, but they've actually been forced down. iDrop and Jerky, the big drop, taking another shot at high ground. Can this finally be the game when they're able to hold on to it? I don't want to speak too soon, but we'll see Shizo and Grols, the first place team at the moment. We know how dominant they've been able to be on mid and low ground, but can they continue up that pace? Grols actually will go down. They're below on Surge, and so things are looking really difficult for these guys in their attempt to keep that hot first place spot.
Not even in a good clutch spot right now. Whenever you're a solo player, you want to take your teammates mass, the utility they have, every option you have at your disposal as a team. But unfortunately, Grols was full piece. No chance for Shizo to get back into that box. He's going to have to work with just what he's got, which is half the power of the duo completely. So going for a little bit of rattling damage on the walls, but doesn't find any connections from this layer so far. Has to drop down soon, but as soon as he does, his mats will melt. He only has about 5 boxes to make. This is your first place positions POV on the top right of your screen. Meanwhile, Jerky and iDrop on the left side still did take everything all the way from height. Snazy and Podesite ready to ramp up down bottom. They're one of the most powerful duos we see so far. On the bottom right, they're now moving free, getting ahead of the zone, looking for their positions. Shizo stuck on the backside, has a chance for a few floppers left and right, and going for a sidewinder pump shot. That's going to be huge for him, but drops down with the improper timing. One more flopper to take his desperation, but he goes down, and now it's a chance, possibly for Chapix, to wrap back and take that first place spot. As I say that, though, Hen and Queasy still alive, and this man is in a world of hurt. He's feeling that pain, still moving right past it, and surviving so far in the zone.
Yeah, and there was a med miss down there. That's going to be huge, right? He already had one in his inventory, but if he has any hope of making some sort of crazy solo clutch, the med miss will be huge. Just seeing Snazy realizing that for himself as well. He needs that to stay in this game. The zone's actually going to pull back towards him, and that's going to be huge, right, for Snazy and Podesite. Can they claim and take control of low ground as it pulls down this little hill here as well? This is going to be a crucial moment for them in their pursuit of a win.
Chappick still alive though, getting a few picks inside that feed. iDrop and Jerky also taking apart duo after duo all the way up top. It's a duo that's also alive in that first place spot. Tayson and Chappick's meeting hand in hand inside their builds. Relvis was down and Chappick's before, and Krusty gets found out by Tayson galore. It's huge for this duo right now, and they pick up the mats as well. They're ready to go. Look at the space they have, Levin. This must be their game.
Yeah, this is easy as pie for Tayson and Chappick. They run this layer, but how many more can they dominate? They want it all right now.
Easy as pie, but they're crunched like a pastry inside that mid-ground as well. It's gonna be tough for them to move through the sauce. Meanwhile, put aside Snazy, 360 degrees of pressure, and somehow they're making sense of it. Move past on their own lair. Jerky and iDrop actually start to tighten things down from high ground. Looking down below, they have the med-miss opportunity as well as the harpoon. It's all wood builds. It big piece takes. It's on the Chappick's too. He's at half HP. Tayson desperate to move inside these boxes, but Jerky's moving forward to have even more pressure. All walls controlled, but Tayson finds a little bit of reprieve, some escape. This man is just too fast. He has permanent sprint mode on, and Jerky loses him.
Yeah, Jerky had to be careful there. Needs to reload his weapons, right? You can go down to take fights, but you need to make sure you're well equipped. Tayson will go down. That's our first place team. And so the battle is not done. Snazy will go at it. Podesai now left alone. Snazy gets knocked in, so a clutch potential here for Podesai. Can he drop down in the right amount of time? Jerky is still up, right? He's playing. It looks like he's a solo, but no. iDrop, his teammate, is still there. The elimination finally comes through. And so it's a 2v2. Well, actually, no, there's more teams in this one. My bad, Ryzen down below. He has a handful to deal with. Hookah will come through. His teammate, his orgmate, running into him, and he deals with that. Jerky now not done with the battle himself. He needs to be careful because Podesai hits hard and hits heavy. iDrop now trying to clean up for what his teammate couldn't do. Can he take Podesai out in this moment? You can see how difficult it is. The zone is closing Podesai away. He's tanking that damage, and iDrop is able to just stay up and wait as the zone continues to take Zeston all the way down below. He needs to make use of his med-miss. He needs to get his HP up while he can before it's too late. Podesai on just an inch of HP. It might be too late for him as well if he's not careful.
He's found corn and bandages as well. This man's ready to go. All iDrop has is 120 HP of that med-miss to use. Someone's about to lock in. Zeston's already started to take a little bit of the damage on the backside. Does iDrop have enough heals? Can he find Zeston as well? Now he understands what's going down. If he doesn't get shot a little bit, he might take that fall damage too all the way towards the floor, but they're both gonna go for the heals. Who has it? It's iDrop. This man is too healthy. This man is too powerful. He overheats in that 8th zone, gets so many eliminations, and the victory royale.
It's the big drop with a victory royale, a heal off, no less.
Boa, so you can't even top off with that shield. Drax also getting into his flopper pool. This is so bad. In terms of even fighting a fight, you're not gonna be that strong either. Basically just operating at 50 HP at all times. Boa's gonna hopefully wait out the zone. One person needs to go down, and apparently it's just him.
Yeah, you saw Shizo and Gross capitalize on his teammate Drax. And they got that loot and they sort of tack sprinted out. Nobody was able to sort of be in that area to recycle a pad by any means, and so they're just gonna have to sprint their way. And you can see they're trying to make their way onto the pad that's actually there by default at the fortress, but with such low HP, you'd expect Shizo to go down. Boa wasn't able to hit the shot. He can use the pad though and make his way in, but with
non, il a pris un HP, il a survécu.
Oh my goodness.
N'importe quoi.
Nah, 1 HP. You've got to be kidding me. They've stayed in this game, and what a way to do it as well.
There's a reality where that spray from Boa hits, and this game goes so different. You see the mats that were put down were all from Groves beforehand as well. Shizo has the majority of them. Then the 1 HP Shizo has the utilities all on Shizo. The elims, the momentum from this game, are riding on this man who got in with a sliver. And right now we look at who else is not allowed to play. Edison down, and I'm seeing Mappy pick up another elimination. This man is really rolling with the pressure and the momentum this game. I want to see exactly what their duel is about. Belusi and Hydro up against Malibuka and Mustache, who've made it here too. A team where, once again, I feel like they just hyperscale when they get into these games. The later it goes, the stronger they get.
Though we talked about it, right? Being able to make the most of your opportunities in the game so you have them, especially when you can just not spawn. And we'll see how they play. You can see the zone pulling back towards the fortress to that west side, going over some elevation as well. And we'll see how these teams deal with that. Jerky and iDrop up on height, they'll be uber aware of what they have to do and if they can sort of climb up. and beat that battle. Shizo and Grows have their eyes on some pads, and you'll see they wait one out, and it finally does get to them. And so now they can make their way towards that first zone. And this is going to be a huge game for them if they want to secure that spot in the top 5. They're in second, and they can take first. iDrop and Jerky in the back of the zone, finally taking their pad, or recycling one, making sure they're the highest up in the sky, and they can land back on high ground where they most are comfortable. And Relvis and Krusty, another team that's done very brilliantly, but on lower layers. And maybe this is why, sneaking in the back of the top, doing some damage there, Relvis, but not getting too greedy, not overextending, just staying in this game with his teammate by him.
The way they're moving on the top right now, Relvis and Krusty are on your screen. I mean, this was like a secret spy mission. Box to box, mantling over different layers, and as the pressure escalates, so does the low ground in the zone. We're kind of moving up mountains and then jumping across right and left. It is Belusi and Haijo that have height for now. Jerky is ready with iDrop to maybe go for that big jump. They have the potential on the map to be able to do it, but the space might be running out. There's so many different types of mountains in the way, and now we're even moving even more north in this zone. Jerky down with so much damage needed to be got, and iDrop actually falls. This is going to be huge for the potential for this duo. They get fragmented in half. Jerky still has the power to take down everyone in his lair. It's his space, and you cannot invade.
Jerky hitting some big shots there. This is his time to solo clutch. You won't be able to do it from a height just yet, but if he can stay in this game, that will be huge. They are just outside of that top 5. Shizo! Oh my goodness! Hitting some huge shots in that moment, keeping his team in the game. Groves isn't there, but he certainly is. 4 elimination. He has all of his team's eliminations up to this point, and he might not be done yet if he can keep hitting shots like that.
Everyone now fragmented. There's a huge cost in the moving that zone. Height has lost their partner all the way down towards the low ground. It's just solo games. Meanwhile, Mustache Malabuka, they stay just together, unsegmented, ready to go up towards that second height layer. And Mustache, there it is. Here's the POV. They're just rattling down. It's the effects of a minigun almost, the way these guys are utilizing the pressure. They're so good, and they have so much space to work with.
Pre-edit plays in the end game. These guys have unlimited confidence. They are reaching ultimate levels of comfortability in this lobby right now, and that's going to be a big problem for anybody that gets in their way.
Potential with the 6 truck splashes available as well. They have so much to work with all towards the end. Oh my goodness, it's 12, 13 in Mustache's inventory. He has the loadout of gods right now for this position. The best possible place he can be in with the best loot as well. No one else really realizes it. Jerky now out of fuel, out of ammo, out of everything in terms of a position, and he's lost in the low ground too. Everything's starting to move up. Mustache and Malabuka basically on the perfect layer. Everyone else squeezed, can't breathe all the way here in low ground. Relvis and Krusty have a little bit of a pocket of air to kind of work with. Darker going down, but this is where pressure really starts to ride up.
Yeah, and this is going to be tough, right? They didn't have enough mats to be able to close teams off as they went up the hill, and so they're just going to have to go back into the zone, use all those chug splashes they have, and this might be huge. They might actually be able to outplay this. Rising and Painter, though, they're suspicious. They know that there's a team in the zone, and so they need to be uber aware of anybody trying to take it. Malabuka and Mustache, they've actually low-padded back into the zone. They've got a bit of mats to hold on to, but they're now trying to fight for height. They need to be careful. Is it going to be too early? Can they actually hold on? This chug splashes are dwindling, but their shots are hitting. They now have height. They forced them off. And this is their game for the taking. They want to do another one.
What a way to get that high ground. Big shots from the backside from Mustache. Malabuka's there with the wrap down. It's like watching an arm and a hand work together at the same time. They're reading each other's minds on these takes. As a result, though, Max3 pushed down towards the low. He always hits those big shots. Mustache and Malabuka are there. They want to win this game single-handedly by themselves. Malabuka now low for the moment. There'll be a cost to this fight. Krusty melts in the zone. What a way to own a VR. Mustache and Malabuka are just on fire today.
They don't get many chances to do this fighting off spawn, but the games that you give them can deliver in this final game.
Yeah, what do iDrop and Jerky need for the moment? They obviously want some of these height teams gone. An Austin Pink might be down for the count in this one. Possibility of that revive coming in or the reboot in just a little bit. On the side of Pink. Meanwhile, I think Tayson and Chapix aren't supposed to be allowed to play the game either. You know, Joe and Andy, Hen and Queasy, a lot of these teams that like to prefer high ground need to be gone for Jerky and iDrop to have a solid way in, or they just give up their height takes and play second height, but that's been tough for them so far today, Levin.
Yes, been very difficult in terms of how the high ground battles have gone out. To be fair, iDrop and Jerky have always had a say in them every single game, right? And so that alone, you know, deserves its own credit. But I would love to see this duo get back involved. The high takes we saw in the first 2 games were so cerebral, so clean, so well executed by them. As well as these guys have done, I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a couple arguments today, knowing these 2 guys. I mentioned it at the start of the show, but you know, they do clash heads at times, and I'm sure some of the more unfortunate games they've had of late maybe have sparked some, but in this final game, they have to be united.
Well, at least they have home turf in this game, right? I think for
Finally.
4 out of 5 games, yeah, we've been in the desert. We got one pull up near the top, which was the last one, but now we're all the way on that north side.
But to be fair, like we sort of mentioned earlier, right, of all the North teams, they're the team that probably won't mind as much, just because they have a means of transport, unlike some of the other ones, right? So
makes a lot more sense, and they don't even have to move that much either. Dark is and Satan as well, 8th overall. I think they've kind of been our poster child for mid-game positioning, and just a safe spot to tune in with the entire day, but also pretty quiet so far. Very close to being inside the top 5. Don't have like the pizzazz, some tag we can put onto them like we are on a bunch of these teams today. But maybe they can finally find that definition, the personality they need, the one big play in this final game to get top 5.
let's take a look at some of the things that have been happening in and around the map. Kami here over at Rocky Rails, forcing his way into Zrox's box and dealing with him appropriately. Mustache now, hitting some shots of his own on Pink. Pink was looking a bit lost there, unfortunately. He goes down. Oof.
Oh, wow.
A clean shot from X-Force.
These are some chunky striker pumps coming in, just taking away HP pools over and over again. And this is going to be very good for Relphus and Krusty on some of the teams that we saw fall in that replay package. A lot of opponents that have been picking them apart the entire day. They get to live, breathe, and they're in second place looking really good. Right beside Grolls and Shizo.
Do you think these guys hold on to their 5th place slot?
See, let's actually answer it from the perspective of casters and analysts. Let's do our job for once. What do they need to stay in 5th place in this game?
Well, to start off with, max materials is nice on Mustache.
Yeah.
They've obviously got decent positioning. I'm assuming they'll be fine on Surge in terms of the Osborne fight that they had with Pink and Anas.
Yep.
Obviously a pad would help, I'm sure, but I'm not sure if there was one in the other inventory. He didn't have
Je vais boire, je vais...
Just watching there.
What I'm thinking from them, right, is they need to get to a point where they can start playing their game. I feel like the one big buff and the one aspect of Mustache and Malabuka that no one can touch, as soon as they hit that 6th zone, 7th zone, they're not playing on anyone else's lair anymore, right? No one's kind of coming to them in a sense. They get to dictate every fight. They get to see every rotation, make pre-edit plays. They get to dictate the pace of the game.
Yeah, one of the keys to why they're so successful in that particular sort of field is the fact that they are so incisive with their decisions, right? Doubt is one of the biggest, you know, sort of problems you can have at the highest level of Fortnite, right? Doubt is huge, and they have none, right? They make all their decisions with such conviction in those moments, and so if they get there, they're always going to be a big threat. We've seen why, and hopefully we can continue to see why as they push to keep 5th place and even higher. Floki Clement not looking too comfortable right now.
Trying their best to make something out of this game, but you have to understand everyone that's kind of like in this position, 16th to 22nd place. They not only need this VR, they need so many more eliminations. So as a result, you can already see in this lobby, 2nd zone, only 62 players alive. All these fights breaking out, all these small bases, everyone's trying to get their games ramped up fast. Now, to go back to Mustache and Malabuka, one place where they don't have control is when the game does get very slow. When there's so many people alive, and they don't get to choose where to go. Where now they're indecisive rather than decisive, like Levin's saying, where some of the hesitation comes in. It's really good for them and a lot of these teams that are good for late game, like Floki and Clement that you just saw. With so many people going down, there's more room to actually play. There's more room to be passive. You don't have to actually stick your neck out and get that much surge. It's so much better for these late game, mid, low ground teams, and that's exactly the game that Mustache Malabuka and Floki and Clement play.
Yeah, this is nice. You can see how every position they're taking, they're sort of trying to optimize to make sure that they can keep a high level of materials, refarming on the wood there as well. A metal box just for some added layer of security at this stage in the game. But all round, things are looking really nice for them.
It's really good for Krusty and Relvis as well. I think the only times they've ever gone down is when someone actually shoots at them. When it comes to defending against pressure, I feel like this is one of the teams that gets bullied and tossed around a lot. With less teams in the mix, with people not really going for surge as much, with more quiet on the map, they get to skip a bunch of these problem zones. Meanwhile, Jerky, I drop people who like to bully, who like to play that slow form kind of game, go for the big mountainous positions, get tags without box fighting. This might be a different change of pace overall in game number 6. That being said, though, who do they have to take out? I mean, Mustache and Malabuka have to go down. Joe and Ziandi have to be removed from the equation as well. Snazy and Podesai are already gone, but everyone ahead of them are just so sticky in terms of duos. They don't like to go down early. Even in late game, they end up solo clutching all the way towards that top 10. I'm worried for iDrop and Jerky.
Yeah, they're going to have a really strong game, and especially with how well Tayson and Chapix are setting up, right? We've seen how they've struggled in some of the games in terms of being able to continue to fight for height, right? We've described it as the rounds after round. Like, do they have that endurance to go all the way in these fights?
I'm just like, it feels like, as we watch these replays, by the way, Clement and Floki just doing a really good job of waiting out the third party that was Andalex and then turning around this entire fight. Going back to iDrop and Jerky, they only have like one move, which is play for high ground. We haven't seen anything else in their deck of cards. We haven't seen much inside their arsenal other than doing that fine or surviving off of that. Can they make the last minute switch to play?
I don't think they can, and I don't think they should.
Okay.
I think they have their philosophy set, they have their game models set, they understand it well, and I think they should stick to that, right? Because it can be effective, it can work. You know, we literally just saw it work, right?
True.
But at the same time, you have to have that belief. If they don't, again, like I said, it all goes back to what I was saying before about doubt, right? If they don't have that belief in themselves as they go into that final game, into those final moments, you know, what are you here for at the end of the day? So, some key decisions to be had and to be made. Look, Relvis and Krusty, they've had a very consistent mid and early game. Very, very consistent, very secure.
I mean, look at their placements on the day so far. Third, and second in the business. Middle of the day, 19th and 9th. Still not the worst, but yeah, these guys scream consistency. They don't get too active on the eliminations, though, but they are here to stick and play.
They've just been super efficient.
Yeah.
They've just been super, super efficient. Eventually making that decision to drop the pad themselves.
Chapix
Not
and
wanting to
Tayson on
take any
heights.
risks. Yes, Chapix and Tayson. I said I wanted to see them back up here. And look, they might look comfy in terms of qualification, but they won't be satisfied with that. They want first place, and I want it for them as well.
Chapix finding a few knocks already off on that high ground. Jerky iDrop moving in, but the finish line for them is getting further and further away. Ziandi, who's right ahead of them, has found one knock already inside the feed, so that pressurized hit your shot playstyle already going good for the duo in 5th place on that bubble. Jerky fall from 6th to 7th. That's gonna be tough for them. A mental hit that they can't really see, but we can from our side of the feed. Look at how high Chapix and Tayson are as well. That's insane. And do they even pull the zone? That's a big question.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. Zone's pulling towards tilted, right? And so things are going to start really getting interesting in terms of traversing through some of those builds over there.
You see the blimp, Levin? I see the blimp, and I feel like it's going to be in play. Look at how high ground, or look at how high ground is. Like, I just feel like with the way pads work as well, this is going to get really, really unique.
Yeah, I'm sure Tayson, Chapix, they'll be thinking about that. Doing as much damage as they can. I'm sure they'll be looking to try to recycle that pad. They've got the chug splashes to re-up on the HP when that time comes. Juriki, though, on this side of your screen, left being forced to play low ground. and try and make their rotation in. They haven't got that luxury of a launch pad or a vehicle.
Drive-by.
You can see someone's just trying to get into their box. This is really awkward now. I drop. Juriki needs your help. You need to get in there, help him out. He's such low HP. Hardfine doing so much to stop him. And iDrop's able to stay up for just a moment. Hardfine eventually goes down. iDrop will win the fight. But that's cost them so much in terms of timing. And in terms of HP as well. They still do need to move on just that bit. But it's not going to be an easy path on this layer.
Shizo is down in first place. He's going to be taken out. Not sure if his teammate is still up and alive. Logan Mustache still providing that pressure. And yes, iDrop was just looking so good as a solo jerky, shaking up inside that box. Look at Mustache and Malibuka though. It just seems like they're playing in their own pocket dimension. So much space. It's peaceful. Meanwhile, Tayson and Chapix at war. Their entire home up top broken down, and they're up inside second height now. So much invested, no metal for the moment, but the beams are still there. Tayson's going for it. They're under in terms of surges. No, not even. It's just the pressure from the other team. They're getting their shields completely wiped and removed. Have to find some time to back off, play on the defensive and heal.
Of all the teams, you wouldn't have expected Tayson and Chapix to get awareness checked, but that's what happened, and so now they can't play height for the meantime. It's gonna have to stay below. Their HP is so low. But we know they're comfortable regardless of the layer. We'll see how that develops. iDrop though on the bottom right of your screen only has himself to fight in this game, and eventually he will fall. It won't be enough. They tried so valiantly, but they fell just before the finishing line, and so now Tayson and iDrop will take their places up on low ground. And as the zone continues to move back away from tilted, people are going to be fighting through their own builds as well as Yandy and Joe just on that 5th place slot. They need to stay in this one as much as they can. The longer they stay in, the better for their chances of going to the finals. That's Krusty and Relvis in front of them. Can they knock out some rivals?
Everyone does not want to go down. So many people still alive. 22 inside this zone, and we move way past city limits. We're going way past out to the suburbs. There's barely even any buildings to be able to hide behind all the way on low ground. Tayson and Chapix still moving in second place. I really want to see Zandy's perspective. They're the ones in 5th. They're the ones right on the line. Malibuka in 4th are going to be in that position as well. 8th place for Max 3 and Axe Force. They've done some crazy things in terms of just individual fights, and they're looking to just wrap things up still on the top side. Krusty and Relvis have taken over that 1st place slot, coming at a huge cost as well, though, as they're low on materials, down on low ground. The asphalt all blown up. It's a nuclear war zone for the moment right now, and unfortunately they're gonna go down to the radiation. They are gone. Max 3 still up top. Tayson taken out. Is he gonna have enough to stay in? It looks like it's Zandy in 4th place currently. They're looking so good. They've survived up until this point. Zandy taking a little bit of that mist and landing a few shots as well. Will this be enough? Will 161 hold is the question. He's still making it all the way in the zone. He finds his way in. A little bit more time to delay, but how much is left for him? Just 5 HP on that Met and Miss, 30 on the shields overall. Squeeze also being taken out. Malibuka in 3rd, 6th place for Axe Force and Max 3. They need this win. They need the elims as well. Let's see what they can do. I saw a little bit of a point total there. 140 for them. They're so far back behind right now. I don't think it's even possible, but what a ride they had up until this point.
They're going to have to try their best. These last 2 eliminations won't be easy to get. Malibuka and Mustache doing their victory lap. 12 eliminations on the game already. This has been such a performance for them, such a climb. We knew all the struggles they had, all the battles they had to face, but they've taken it on the chin, and they've moved through. And now, as the final fight breaks out, Max 3 will hit a huge shot. It's not the first time we've seen him do that today, but isn't going to be enough, like Shayo said. Now, in a 2v1, Malibuka, we've seen him win situations like this before, where Axe Force and Max 3 can hit the kind of shots we've seen them hit. It'll be easy work. They're knocking him down. They're trying to force him to fight. And you can tell he doesn't want to. Doing some love taps here, just forcing them back down. Trying his best to stay alive in this one as much as he can. Forcing a mistake, if possible. But Maxi and Axe Force, they just got to stay composed, cool, calm, and collected, and keep trying to chop him out. 2 shotguns are better than 1. And you can see they're just going to keep it going, spraying relentlessly.
Another connect from Malibuka. I mean, this duo up top has been so good at just keeping control this entire game. He is 1v2ing with this pressure. They're gonna have to fall at some point to just having no materials whatsoever. Max 3 has a chance for some type of build off. One player already down. No way!
Non.
Again, there's just no way he does it! 1v2 in the 6th game of Qual 1!
Oh, il est trop fort.
The GOAT! This man is just too much to handle!
Malabuka is an absolute animal. What a player. To close it out with the victory out, 2 versus 1. Oh dearie me, yes it was a heel-off, but he never wavered. The relentless pressure they applied to him in those final moments, we were highlighting it.
Bon, et ben... à bientôt les petits potes.